Hello and welcome to the Mimiron strategy guide, brought to you by wowguidesnow.com. In this video, I'll first explain the main abilities of Mimiron, followed by a full 25-man rated encounter footage. For more information and discussion on the topic, please click the link in the movie description if you're watching this on YouTube, to be redirected to wowguidesnow.com. A lot of the damage in this fight is fire-based, so fire resistance will greatly help. No need to go overboard and swap gear, but totems for instance can really make a difference. The Mimiron encounter consists of 3 different phases, each with its own mechanical boss, followed by a 4th and final phase that includes all the previous 3 mechanical bosses joined together. At phase 1 you will be facing Leviathan Mk2, which is a vehicle. It needs to be tanked in the middle of the room with a DPS behind him and the ranged as well as the healers spread out in a medium-sized circle around him. Occasionally Leviathan will cast Napalm Shell on a target, just stay put and heal through it. You will also note small mines appearing in a small circle around Leviathan. Melee should keep an eye on those mines because they do heavy damage. Every once in a while Leviathan will start casting an AoE called Shock Blast. When it does, Melee should quickly get away avoiding the mines and quickly reposition him back in the middle of the room. And finally your tank will receive heavy damage from Plasma Blast. Healers have to be alert, and when they see it's being cast, prepare for some massive healing. When Leviathan reaches 0 health, it will move away and make room for VX001, which is the boss of phase 2. Phase 2 is a highly dangerous phase that requires massive healing. The most important thing for the raid to remember during this phase is that surviving is greater than DPS. You have to help your healers in every way possible, such as off healing and consumables. You will also have some time between the phases to heal up to full. Do so. VX is a stationary boss that ignores aggro, so it will not be tanked. In this phase, ranged and healers should stand in a tighter circle that will allow easier group healing, as well as allow your ranged DPS to easily switch positioning when needed. Your melee should try and stay to his back as much as possible at all times because he does massive damage in front of him. VX will also shoot rockets at your raid members. You will receive an indication of where the rocket is about to land in the form of a red circle on the ground. Move out of it ASAP or you will die when it hits you. But the most dangerous attack of VX is the laser barrage. You will always be pre-informed of laser barrage when VX emotes that he starts to spin. When that happens, quickly move all the raid behind him. VX will start rotating clockwise for a few seconds, doing fatal damage and killing anyone in front of him. Avoid it at all costs and move with him. The third phase is probably the easiest of them all. You will oppose the aerial unit, which will need to be tanked either by a ranged DPS or by a warrior that spell reflects the aerial unit attacks, which are all magical ones. You can pretty much save your cooldowns while the aerial unit is up there, because you will need to bring it down and DPS it. The aerial unit will do a couple of things. First, it will drop bomb bots on the ground that will move to a random player and explode on him. Have a plate class taunt them so they explode relatively safely. Meanwhile, another tank picks up the rest of the small adds that will spawn around the room. Pay special attention to the assault units. When assault units die, they drop electromagnets. Loot them and use them to bring the aerial unit to the ground and greatly increase all damage on it. This will be a good time to pop DPS cooldowns until it's up in the air again. Phase number 4 combines all the 3 bosses at the same time. They will retain the following known abilities from previous phases: the mines, the shock blast, the missiles, and the barrage. You will need to gradually lower the life of all the 3 bosses so that they die approximately at the same time or they will repair. Let's watch the raid encounter footage. Mimiron is pulled and first up is Leviathan. Notice all the ranged and healers are spread out while the melee are up close. You can already see Napalm Shell going off on a raid member here, as well as the mines starting to form on the floor. Leviathan casts Plasma Blast on the tank. Shock Blast is being cast and all the melee are running away while avoiding the mines on the floor. Leviathan is being pulled back to the center of the room and the rest of the fight repeats itself. Plasma Blast on the tank. Shock Blast AoE. And occasional Napalm Shell. I'll speed this up to phase number 2. Leviathan backs off and we take the time to heal up and get closer, not before we see the rest of the mines go off. VX is in the house. Melee do their best to stay behind him, it's a bit difficult because it keeps randomly rotating. The reddish explosions you see here are the heat waves, and they will do a small damage rate wide. They occur pretty often though, so fire resist totems at this phase can make a real difference. The glowing red spotlight indicates a missile is about to land here. VX are modes for spinning up, that means that barrage is next. Everyone get to his back and stay there while it rotates. Again, I cannot emphasize enough how important survival is at this phase. Don't count just on your healers alone, help them with off-healing, consumables, etc. As you can see, even though I'm DPS spec, I help heal to make sure as many raid members survive and make it to the next phase. And we're there. After sighing a little sigh of relief, heal up to full, use bandages if possible, and combat res your fellow comrades. It is aerial unit time. A tank quickly picks it up and the rest of the raid gathers on the opposite side to make sure that no one gets hit by the bomb bots that are being picked up by the same tank as well. That big dude here, that's the assault bot. It needs to be killed and looted for the magnet that pulls the aerial unit to the ground, where it can be pawned hard. Because this is a relatively easy phase, I will speed up again to phase number 4. We finish up the remaining trash ads and take our position around the bosses. We split the DPS between the different bosses and let the mayhem take over. The mines appear, rockets fly everywhere, and everyone hides behind him when he does barrage. We continue until all the parts are low on health and we can finish them off together. And that concludes the Mimiron strategy guide. As always, you can click the link in the movie description for further details and discussion on the topic. I would like to thank Resurrection Guild, and until next time, have a great raid and killer drops.